Welcome to the Adult Basic Skills Professional Development video series. Throughout our productions, we are committed to excellence in adult education and professional development in basic skills instruction. The goal of this video series is to improve the effectiveness and quality of instruction through focused professional development.
During this time together, let's discuss the needs and characteristics of the adult learner, as well as ideas for meeting those needs. Let's begin by examining some common characteristics of adult learners to help us better understand the needs of adults who seek basic skills instruction. We can divide these characteristics into three categories: physiological, environmental, and psychological. Let's start with the physiological category. In addition to being a student, many adults work full-time jobs that are physically demanding. When an adult enters the classroom, he or she may have just worked 8 to 10 hours. As a result, it's common for adults to experience fatigue, which may hinder the learning process. Another physiological characteristic of the adult learner may be vision or hearing loss. Many adults do not realize that they have a vision or hearing loss because the problem sometimes occurs gradually.
This is a little hard to read here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you, John, do you ever wear glasses?
No, never had any.
Okay. Okay. Let me try something just real quick over here. Just want to see this other kind of print and compare it and see if it's easier to read. Let me find a page here. Is that easier? Is that easier for you to see there?
Yeah, it's not as fuzzy. You know.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay. What about when you're watching TV or something like that? You ever been with family or something? Do they ever complain about you turning the TV up too loud or anything like that? They ever say you listen to it too loud?
Well, people next door always want me to turn my stereo down. You know.
The lives of adult students may also be complicated by environmental problems. In some cases, adults live in dysfunctional relationships at home with spouses and children. Adults experience job-related stress as well as the financial burden of supporting a family. Some adults live in communities with high crime levels or may come from poverty-stricken areas.
The adult student oftentimes is in a fairly tight relationship with his family, immediate family, and a few friends at work. Maybe church if they're involved in church. But beyond that, in terms of community, a lot of our adults are removed from the mainstream in terms of politics and in terms of social events and so forth. They tend to be on the periphery of things.
Next, let's examine some other environmental characteristics that many adults have in common. Some adults may have had many unsuccessful experiences in school and as a result may have doubts about their ability as a learner. They may have been asked to do things that were too hard, or they may have been labeled as dummy, LD, or disruptive. The messages some adults have gotten from their environment are not positive. On the other hand, most adults have a rich background of experiences upon which to build new information. Most adults have years of work experience, and many have been quite successful in various aspects of their lives.
Outside influences can be past experiences they've had with schooling. A lot of the students have not had very satisfactory experiences in school. Matter of fact, they've been on the margin of things, or at least in some cases failures in school. So they bring this, we call this baggage, to the school setting with some expectation that they'll have more of the same. And so they'll be expecting, in a sense, a structure very much like an elementary school or junior high. They will also have the expectation that they will do about the same. They didn't have success before, and some of them have to really be convinced that they can have experiences that are positive and they can have success.
No.
Finally, adults have distinct psychological characteristics. For some adults who have a history of failure in the classroom, they may have become conditioned over the years to failing in school. Adults may suffer from past experiences with teachers who were insensitive and demanding. Some adults who are labeled lazy or disruptive may suffer from low self-esteem as well as anxiety related to the traditional classroom setting.
Many of the adults that I have encountered are rather withdrawn. They are on the periphery of society, so to speak, and they don't feel part of the mainstream, so they've sort of withdrawn into their own shells.
I find that adult learners have insecurities. They often have gone through a long period in their lives when they have tried to persuade other people that they know things that they know they don't know, so they're playing a dual role. And so when they come to the class, you get some who feel they put on this outer display so much till when they come in, they're still trying to persuade the teacher that they know, and they're so afraid that you're going to find out they don't know. And you've got to reinforce this. You can't embarrass them or make them feel humiliated. You have to present things to them that they can do right away, and if they don't do them, they're very embarrassed before the teacher, so you have to say, hey, that's okay, you're going to catch it in a minute or two. You just watch it. It won't take but just a little bit, and that usually works. Then you find some who are just convinced they can't learn anything, and this is the thing too, and they are so insecure. I had someone this morning say, I'm a nobody, and I won't let that get past me for a second. I insist that everyone is someone, and my biggest job to me is to let these people build within themselves the confidence and the knowledge that they can do it, that they are somebody. And I keep saying it till they'll believe it. And when they believe it, I'm more excited than they are. I like to see them straighten those shoulders, lift that head up, and see the sparkle in their eyes. And that usually comes after about a month in a class. And I will tell them the first night, hey, this is going to happen. Just watch.
It's almost like a flower blooming. They come like a bud. And as you work with an adult educationally and emotionally and other ways, socially, they sort of bloom and blossom. I've had this happen many times.
Examining these characteristics is the first step in the process of understanding and relating to the needs of the student. Each category and its characteristics have specific implications for how we may interact with our student. These general characteristics give us a better understanding of how we should approach the student and how we may avoid making the student feel uncomfortable. Keeping these characteristics in mind, let's take a closer look at some specific needs that many adults have. An adult needs to have his or her primary needs met. Primary needs consist of physiological needs as well as safety or security. Proper rest, shelter, food, and water are essential elements of physiological needs. The adult who juggles a full-time job, raising a family, paying the bills, and attending ABS class needs a good night's rest and proper nourishment. When basic physiological needs are neglected, the learning process for the adult becomes more difficult. Many times, an instructor can be helpful by providing extra encouragement, counseling, or a referral to a community agency that may be able to provide additional assistance. Each adult has environmental needs. The adult needs to feel secure and comfortable in the learning environment. This process begins when the instructor takes the initiative to build rapport with his or her student. Building rapport helps the student to feel at ease and provides him or her with an environment that is accepting and conducive to learning.
What's your favorite team?
Well, Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah. They're doing pretty good this year, too.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about football. I watch just a little bit, kind of, if I'm at home and visiting my family, because my relatives all like to watch football. So I'll have to count on you to give me the updates on what's happening with the football season, okay?
Yeah. Well, are you going to go home New Year's kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be
Good
going
ball.
home.
Be football all day there, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Adults have psychological needs too. As ABS instructors, it's our responsibility to treat our student with respect. We need to guard against any action or comment which could be interpreted as demeaning or condescending. Each adult is an individual and has needs that are unique. Sometimes it's easy to stereotype the adult. We assume that adult students are all alike. Unintentionally, we may come across as condescending if our interaction with the student makes him or her feel devalued. The adult needs to have the learning experience based on his or her prior knowledge. As ABS instructors, it's important for us to be good listeners and to build on the student's prior knowledge and areas of interest. Our goal is to tap the learner's knowledge base and use it as much as possible when planning instruction.
What about some of the things that students you've been working with?
Well, and Gerald, I know it's important to build upon the students' experiences and knowledge, but how do you do that, especially with, like, my new student, John? How would I do that?
You're correct. It's really important that the student can sense that we're trying to build on what they already know. It's a comforting kind of thing. So probing over a period of time, getting at their various interests is really important. What did you find out about an interest that he might have had, or he might have?
Well, he's real interested in college football.
Okay. So we can build on that. Just you know, what teams does he watch? Did he indicate what teams he watched?
He said Alabama.
Okay, so he knows how to pick good teams. So picking up on some interest that he has and what he knows about it, and is this an interest for you?
Well, it may have to become one.
That's the right kind of attitude, because it's always good if there's an exchange, that he's not the only one feeling like he's learning something, that he can teach you something. But,
right. Well, definitely he can teach me something about football, because I don't know anything.
But that's super. I found that in exchange, I've had experiences like that where I had a student that's really interested in fishing, and just to have the time to go fishing with them, they taught me a lot. But in that, I could sort of find out more about what they really understood and the kind of questions they had. What are some other things that he does?
For many adults, educational experiences of the past have left emotional scars. The student needs to experience success from the beginning. Furthermore, the student needs to see the relationship between learning and the accomplishment of his or her personal goals. The threat of failure must be removed. Grades are not important to most adults, but filling out a job application form may hold great significance. An adult learner is interested in learning a new skill and how that will benefit him or her. It's important to provide instruction that helps the learner accomplish his or her personal goals.
Did you get any indicators that he might be bringing a lot of baggage with him, of not doing well in school? Did he make any comments related to that?
He had made some comments about the teachers having been on his back in school when he was in school, and he'd had some other personal problems during that time with his family or something, and the teachers weren't very sympathetic and kind of made him feel, I guess he didn't exactly say it in so many words, but I guess they kind of made him feel dumb, and he just decided it wasn't worth the effort to stay in school if he could go to work and earn some money instead.
So what do you think you're going to need to do if he feels a little insecure and not too sure about his ability to learn? And
well, I definitely do not want to put him in a situation where he feels like he's back in high school or junior high, where he had the negative situations. I know, again, like I told you, I'm a little wary of
Understanding the needs of our student is crucial because it determines how we will interact with him or her. In summary, let's go back and examine the specific implications for how we're to interact with our student. Application number 1. Be a good listener and observer. If the student suggests that he or she is homeless or hungry, be prepared to provide information about organizations that help families in need. Application number 2. Build rapport with the student and make him or her feel comfortable. The adult needs to feel safe from bodily and mental dangers. He or she also needs to feel secure and comfortable in the learning environment. Application number 3. Continue to build rapport and trust in the relationship with the student throughout the learning process, and remember, treat each adult as an individual. Application number 4. Tap the learner's knowledge base and use it as much as possible, because the adult needs to have the learning experience based on his or her prior knowledge. Application number 5. Provide the student with a trial lesson that gives immediate success and helps the student to feel a sense of satisfaction and self-fulfillment. Application number 6. Use instructional materials that relate to the accomplishment of the student's personal goals. This will help the adult to see the relationship between learning and the accomplishment of his or her personal goals.